Hello, Oliver. Welcome to MarkLogic World. Great to have you here.
It's fantastic to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. So, introduce yourself. What do you do at Microsoft?
Sure. So my name is Oliver Schulz. I run Microsoft's data platform ISV relationships, and so my team works with around 60 partners that all enhance, complement, and in some instances even compete with our first-party data services.
Excellent. So, our area of focus for the two companies is Azure. So tell me what Azure is, first of all, and what is the significance of this offering in your company's business?
Sure. So Azure is Microsoft's public cloud platform. So it consists of 100 plus services. So these are basically the building blocks that allow developers to build their applications, starting from databases to VMs and compute instances to network layers and storage, basically. And it is very, very critical for our company. So Microsoft is really all in the cloud world, and we provide infrastructure services, but we also provide high-level services, managed services and all that stuff, because that's what customers want.
Excellent. So how do you partner with MarkLogic?
Well, MarkLogic, you're an ISV, so we manage you as an ISV, as an integrated software vendor, and we partner with you to basically, first of all, to make MarkLogic available on the Azure platform so that customers can deploy MarkLogic on our cloud. That's what customers, basically it's speaking towards giving customers choice, giving customers the tools that they want to, and we work closely together to make that happen. But it's even more than that, I would say. It's more around not only making it available, that's one thing, but it's really about how do we make it really shine? How do we really integrate it? How do we really make it fly? That's what we're working with, and that's why I'm really excited that we're here and work together as a partner.
So what is the opportunity for our customers in that regard of that partnership?
Well, the opportunity is clearly around when you think about where MarkLogic is really strong is about aggregating data that is in silos, and getting that together. That's a huge problem for enterprise customers, especially enterprise customers who have a legacy of different systems. They need to get this data together, and they need to derive information out of this data. And I think there's a huge opportunity when we think about us both working together in terms of not only allowing customers to derive that data, different data sources and data silos, but also make it available on a cloud platform that can scale infinitely, and be available in multiple regions, wherever the customer is running their services.
So what are some of the biggest challenges you see in cloud adoption for our customers? You mentioned that many of them run hybrid environments. They may be moving to cloud in piecemeal fashion. What are some of the challenges organizations face in terms of cloud adoption?
Yeah, I would say, luckily, if you would ask me 12 months ago, I would have said, well, it's still companies are playing around with that. We're beyond that. Companies are doing it, this thing is happening, and of course there are still challenges. And I would say probably the biggest one is the pressure that development teams get from their CISOs, from their security, teams and so on around hey, if you really run something in production, an app in production, how do you make sure this is GDPR compliant? This is rock solid and cannot be breached. This aspect is still something where we see a lot of pushback and sometimes even confusion, I would say. The second part is it's about I think the technology has advanced to that point that you can run almost all of the workloads in a public cloud. There's, compared to 12 months ago, where you would say, well, I cannot run that because it's not mission critical, but because it's you need network performance that it's not possible. We're beyond that point, but there are still things like knowing what you can run and what you cannot run, coming back to the compliance and security side of the house. And I would say probably the last part is it it is also like, from an all-up perspective, it's a knowledge or learning experience. What we see actually is
like an educational experience.
And actually, yeah, just learning about different cloud platforms. If you're running on cloud platform A versus cloud platform B, it doesn't mean the same concepts are there. Different clouds have different concepts, right? And you cannot just take one and move it over to the other. So that is different. That would not work. And that by itself has some challenges because it's expensive to run different, basically two different developer teams, for different cloud platforms. So there is something that we definitely see where either companies are going all in with one cloud and just have the benefits of it's one consistent model versus having multiple ones, which has its challenges because you need to work on different. You need to basically build up the skill set for running those cloud workloads.
So for customers who are looking to quickly develop applications on MarkLogic, the opportunity to ramp up development environments and test environments quickly, it's a key value to our relationship.
Absolutely. And so we were just. You can go on Azure Marketplace, and you will find a whole slew of MarkLogic images there. There's one particular one which actually allows you, it's a solution template that allows you to spin up a 3-node MarkLogic cluster within, I would say, 12 to 15 minutes. You have it operational, you have it up and running. So this is good. When it comes to like talking about time to market, agility, it speaks absolutely to that, and it's something we are continuously working on to even go from great, you have a 3-node cluster, how do you go to a 9-node, 12-node, whatever you want to have? You can seamlessly adapt that cluster. That's what we're working on, and it's fascinating if you see that, 12 to 15 minutes compared to the old world, that's game-changing, right?
It is game-changing. So you work with many different ISV partners. How do you measure success in those relationships?
Yeah, for me, of course, every partner is different and everyone is different. It's for us. I want to be clear. It's not how much you transact with us. It's not how much you, basically how much you sell through our marketplace. What really matters to us is customer traction. Do we enable our end customers to run the right workloads? And not only that, of course, I'm also. The most successful partners that we have are also the ones that offer differentiation. If you just have your bits on our cloud platform, that's good, that's great. But what I really want to have is, or where we're really thriving to, is to really have differentiated offerings for our customers, including the services that we have. So think about seamless integration into Power BI for visualization. Think about integration of our machine learning server, for example. Think about other seamless integrations that make it so that end customers come to us and say, I have to run MarkLogic on Azure because it gives me that agility advantage and this seamless integration. These are the ones, this is what we are looking for. And the measuring piece is a difficult one because the revenue that we bill you is not the right, not the right criteria for that. It's more fuzzy than that. But we've done that for a long time, and we know really what levers we need to play.
At the end of the day, it's about the value that we'll provide to our customers.
Exactly. Thanks for saying that. That's exactly it. It's the value to end customers, and really deeply integrating into the Microsoft services that we offer. Again, like if you just have a VM running on a cloud, it's an analogy. If you're running a Dell server versus an HP server, what's the difference, right? But really, if you have additional services around that, that makes it sticky, that makes it differentiated, and that really provides the value that our customers are asking for.
So get out your crystal ball and tell me, in the age of digital disruption, or technology disruption is maybe a better term. What's going to separate the winners from the losers?
I think number one is. You mean specific to databases or in general?
Databases.
So I think when just go back 5 years ago and look at the Gartner Magic Quadrant for relational database systems, or 4 years ago, or whenever. There were like 20 different companies on the Gartner Magic Quadrant, and some, of course, there were the big guys, including Microsoft there, and some very small companies, who had something very specific. If you look at the Gartner Magic Quadrant today, it looks very different. There's probably, I don't know, my guess is like 10, 15 maximum, that are on this. And guess what? MarkLogic, for example, is still on that. So I think, to close that, I think what successful companies do and successful ISVs do, they focus. They focus on something and they do it incredibly well. And from then they grow out and kind of basically grow their presence. If you're trying to be something for each and everyone and not offer enough differentiation, enough value to end customers, it's going to be tough. So that's specific to the database space. And that's, by the way, which I really like about MarkLogic, where you are very focused on what you do, and you do it really well. And even by industries and segments and what you do, you really focus on this, and you have your sales teams aligned to that as well, which is great. That's, I think, a good secret for success for MarkLogic.
Totally agree. Thank you, Oliver. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Enrique.